Welcome to Highbury Stadium. In my opinion, this right here was where Arsenal was born. Woolwich, yes, but this was an integral part of Arsenal's history, where legends were made, where famous, long-lost managers were made. And this is why I think that this was Arsenal's best stadium. Herbert Chapman, Arsenal's greatest manager in my opinion. He came in after being Huddersfield manager and loved Arsenal with all his heart. This was a romantic story for some and a tragic story for others. It ended in a tragic way after he died unexpectedly. However, he led us to so much success. He is an integral part of Arsenal Football Club, and he is, in my opinion, our greatest ever manager.
In 2006, Arsenal moved from Highbury Stadium to the Emirates Stadium. The fans were promised a dream. The board, however, they did not deliver. Since then, we've never looked back. We've regretted moving as fans, and it has been an integral part of Arsenal's downfall, in my opinion. This is the Emirates Stadium. It isn't Highbury. It is atmosphereless on small games and slightly better atmosphere on bigger games. But fans are not happy that we moved all these years ago.
This team this season, I think it's improved in a lot of ways. When you compare it to the defensive organisation that he has done this season compared to Arsene Wenger's last season, I think we've been a bit more competitive. We're more competitive against the big teams as well. He's improved our points tally against the top six compared to last season. Our defensive organisation, particularly when Rob Holding was in the team as well, was superb. We were more organised, more competitive, and we looked, a solid unit that we could able to win games and get the points we needed. Games such as Liverpool, games such as Manchester United, and that is one way Unai Emery's improved. Another way is our ability to get the best out of our players, such as like Xhaka, Torreira, Lacazette, Aubameyang, and our wing backs as well, particularly Kolasinac as well, who, in my opinion, isn't that great as a left wing back or a left back. He's not great in crossing the ball, but the formation he's used and the way he's been able to get the best out of this player has been really good this season. And also he's improved a lot of the players like Rob Holding, Hector Bellerin, and even Leno and Cech, because if you think about Leno during his Leverkusen in his last season, he made a lot of mistakes and he wasn't confident and he didn't have a great season in particular. And when he came through the summer, right, it took a while for him to get into the team, to grow in confidence and improved in certain ways. And of course, afterwards when Cech got injured, Leno came in and the rest is history. Another way he has improved this season is his ability to improve players such as Maitland-Niles, who on the first day of the season was injured, and later on he didn't come back to the team until like October or November, and he was playing as left back during the group stages of the Europa League. Then Hector Bellerin got injured, and then Maitland-Niles then had to play the right wing back role, something which he's not familiar with, and Unai Emery in his man management of the player has been very good because he's been able to improve the player and help him learn the position on the fly while the season's going on. And another way he's been able to improve this team as well is the away record. I mean, although our away record to this season is still pretty bad, right? Compared to last season, we've been able to pick more points and more wins than last season. And those are the points I think which Unai Emery has improved this season.
What has Unai Emery improved at Arsenal? I think that he's improved quite a bit actually, despite what people are saying. In terms of our defence, it started off looking pretty decent when we went through that 22-game unbeaten spell. But it's just a shame because it's gone back to its old ways recently. I think the fact of the matter is that he's changed his backroom staff completely, and therefore it means there's a lot of a transformation going on at Arsenal, and that calls for a lot of improvement in my opinion. And I think that there has been a significant amount that people haven't recognised as improvement from Unai Emery. I think the style of football that Arsenal have been playing have been a bit more roll on, roll off. Like, there's been a lot more urge to make substitutions. Maybe not always the right ones, but he's made substitutions at crucial times in his games. And it doesn't mean just because we didn't get top 4 this season that he's failed as a manager, because ultimately he's made Arsenal better, play better football than ever before, in my opinion, in the past, maybe 3-4 years. And that's really what's done it for me. So the style of football's changed, and that's why I think that Unai Emery has improved as Arsenal manager.
Well, I'll say Unai Emery has improved this season. I think he's kind of brought a fighting spirit to the current squad. I feel like he's done way more coaching. I think he's lifted the energy, the spirit of the players. You can see obviously the difference between the results we've had this season compared to the results we've had last season, the performances as well. Obviously, it's not slightly better, but obviously it's still a difference he's made, you know what I mean? Obviously with Arsene Wenger, I feel like the players just stopped caring. I feel like Wenger it just got to a time where, it was the end of an era for him, you know what I mean? The players stopped responding to him, like the club was dying, and I felt like obviously, although my opinion, I believe Wenger should have went a couple of years ago. I feel like last season was the last straw, Like, remember when City came in, Emirates, remember, last season after they beat us in the final? Yeah, and then they come a couple of days after Emirates and you could see the empty seats. Like, the club was dying, and for a club this size, that was just unacceptable. So yeah, Emery, obviously, we see what type of manager he is. You see he likes to have players, that work hard. So yeah, he's done a lot of differences to this current
football as we did last year. And the defence hasn't improved either. So I think he's tried to implement his ideas, he's tried to give his style, but overall he hasn't managed to do it in his first season.
How long am I willing to give Unai Emery as a coach during his Arsenal tenure? In my opinion, to improve the squad and change it to be able to win leagues and titles is a 4-year job. First year, in my opinion, is just to assess the squad, see who can step up and who can't, and who should be given a chance. Because this first season in the summer, a lot of people didn't leave the summer, apart from like Jack Wilshere, Lucas Perez and René Adelaide. A lot of the players that were from the previous season, stayed with the club, and a lot of the players were given a chance. And I think second and third year now, is really crucial for Unai Emery. And in my opinion, this is when we really judge him as a manager, because now, he assesses the squad, he's given the players a chance. Now he needs to, get rid of the players that he doesn't need and who don't fit his style, and that's how you improve the team, and that's what he needs to do going into the next 2-3 years. Because next year in particular, we need to get top 4, we need to win the Europa League somehow and get Champions League football. Because if we finish outside of the Champions League again next season, then I think that a lot of questions need to be asked, because then it'll be our 4th year out of the Champions League, and what we bring him in to improve from what Arsene Wenger has done will be called into question, and he needs to just improve the players.
Despite what I said about the fact that he has not necessarily failed as a manager, he has in some sense, because when he came in as Arsenal manager, he was expected to get us back into the Champions League, and that hasn't been done, whether through top 4 in the Premier League or whether it has been through getting Champions League football, through winning the Europa League. It hasn't been done. And therefore my patience for Unai Emery has gone down that slight bit. I think that game against Chelsea in the Europa League final was absolutely appalling. His tactics were all wrong, and that, in my opinion, made the case clear that he cannot get as long as I first anticipated before that final happened. So in my opinion, he's got another year to prove himself, win the Europa League and get top 4 and get us back competing as Arsenal Football Club. 2 more years if he can do that, 1 more if he can't.
You have got to give him time, Wenger was here for 22 years. Any man that come in had a lot to change. So it is going to take time, but the board's got to back him. If the board don't back him, he ain't going to last his 2 years. I can't see him being sacked because our board haven't got the balls to do it. His contract is 2 years, but he has got an option to extend. I can't see him extending if we don't make top 4. The start of this season, our goal was at least top 4 and possibly the Europa League, and he hasn't achieved any of that. So I don't think he will last his extended year, but I think we won't sack him for the 2nd year. So I think 2 years, he's got to give him that 2 years to see what he can do. This is a big summer for him. the board's got to back him. He's got to make some transfers. Because other than that, I can't see us going nowhere.
I say 2 more seasons. I think next year. I think next year. I don't know, like, because I've heard that our budget only 40 million, and he hasn't got much to do with that. So I feel like next year, if we get in Champions League football, then I feel like we'll do a bit better. So I feel like he deserves 2 more seasons.
How long I'll give Emery? It's a bit hard to say. Although he's on a 3-year contract, I believe 3-year with option to a 4th year.
It's 2 years with option.
Is it 2 years option to a 3rd year? You know what it is? It's not really his fault because he's come in and he's having to deal with the players that Wenger has signed, and them players that Wenger signed, in my opinion, they was never really good enough. You know what I'm trying to say? Obviously, he's made top signing in Alexis Sanchez. I believe was very great when he signed for us. I don't think he should have left. Although, like, fringe players he's brought in, like Xhaka's, who else has he brought in that wasn't good enough? Monreal, Mustafi, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, the list goes on. So yeah, like, a lot of players are just not good enough for the size of this club, you know what I mean? They don't know what it means to play for this club. They don't know, and that's what really the issue is. So Emery has to come in and deal with these players. He needs to be backed. So if Emery isn't backed by the club and results that was happening the other day keep on happening, we can't say nothing to Emery because it's not his fault. He needs to get back. Pep Guardiola's backed at Man City. Klopp's been backed at Liverpool. You know what I mean? Sarri was allowed to spend 70 million on the keeper. So it's like Man United, like Mourinho, who's allowed to spend what, 80 million on Lukaku? 100, nearly up to 100 million on Pogba. Like, it's just silly, and we're just the only big club not being backed. So I do feel for Emery, and I could see as well in the final when we lost to Chelsea, I could see his reactions, I could see he was trying. But hey, you got to improvise with the resources you have.
I would give Unai Emery 1 more full year. I do feel bad for him in the sense that he's not getting the backing from the owner, which makes his job a lot harder than it was, say, at PSG, where they've got a massive financial power. But overall, I'd give him 1 more year, just because Arsenal fans we're an impatient bunch of fans, and 2 years without Champions League, that's no improvement to where we were before, and I don't think Arsenal fans will be able to stand that for very long.